Tried so hard to see it. Took me so long to believe it. It took someone like me to carry your victory. Perfection could never earn it. You get what you don't deserve, and you take the broken things, raise them to glory. You are my champion. Giants fall when you stand undefeated. Every battle you won. I am who you say I am. You crown me with confidence. I am seated in the heavenly place, undefeated, with the one who has conquered it all. Oh, oh. When I lift my voice and shout, every wall comes crashing down. I have the authority Jesus has given me. When I open up my mouth, miracles start breaking out. I have the authority Jesus has given me. When I lift my voice and shout, every wall comes crashing down. I have the authority Jesus has given me. When I open up my mouth, miracles start breaking out. I have the authority Jesus has given me. You are my champion. Giants fall when you stand undefeated. Every battle you've won. I am who you say I am. You crown me with confidence. I'm seated in the heavenly place, undefeated. With the power of your name, I'm seated in the heavenly place, undefeated, with the one who has conquered.
Hi guys, my name is Giselle and a very warm welcome to tcyouth. If you're new here, we are so excited to have you as a part of our family. We're about to go through some announcements, so please stay with us so you know how to get plugged in. First, we've got our online devos happening throughout the week. Devotionals are ways that we can study the Bible with our tribe groups, talk and update each other on what's been going on in our lives. For more info, make sure you message your tribe leaders, and if you're not part of a tribe yet, then make sure to message us in the chats and or in our Zoom room. You can even DM us on Instagram to stay connected. Next, we've got Friday Fuel every week at 8 p.m. It's where we play games, watch movies, or have Instagram lives, so make sure to follow our Instagram account at thecollective.youth to stay updated. We hope you join the fun this Friday. The last announcement is that we have these tcyouth services every week at the same time, same link, 10 a.m. Also, come hang out with us after service to play some games and hang out. That's all for the announcements. Now let's head into the sermon.
Hey guys, well, happy Sunday. Welcome back to TC Youth. And if you're new here, welcome, especially you new people. I'm Mika. I'm one of the leaders here. I don't know if you know me or not, or you've met me in the Zoom, or you've seen me Pilar in the Zoom. But yeah. So I'm going to be starting us off with a new series named Rebellious. So This is week 1. You guys ready? All right. So let's begin with a short rant. You want to know something that really kind of annoys me and sometimes frustrates me is when adults label teenagers as rebellious. Here's what I mean. Sometimes when people would ask me like, "Oh, what have you been doing lately?" Because I'm taking a gap year. Everybody's like asking me, "What have you been doing? Yeah, what have you been doing?" Blah 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 blah. And I was like, "Oh, I've actually been working in a youth ministry. I volunteer in a youth ministry where I work with teenagers." And the minute I say that, they're either saying one of two things. It's either they say, "That's awesome," and they're right. Like, it's so awesome to get to work with teens and like hang out with you guys and like grow with you guys. Or the second reaction is they say, "Oh, I'm sorry. I could never do that." And they would give me a list of reasons why teenagers suck or like why they don't like teenagers. I know, calm down. It's rude. It also frustrates me. But the truth is, sometimes I think people in high school get stereotyped in a way that's really unfair. I know, it's rude. Calm down. It bothers me too, to be honest. And the truth is, I think people in high school or middle school get labelized or stereotyped as like lazy or entitled. But the thing I think that bugs me the most is when they're labeled rebellious. So, being rebellious usually means that you don't always follow the rules. And when I hear the statement like teenagers are rebellious or like teenagers are a rebellious type, I just want to ask them the question, have you met every teenager? The truth is, you can't just put everyone in a specific category and like label them as that. But is being rebellious always a bad thing? The truth is, whether you consider yourself rebellious or not, or whether you like rules or you hate rules, we have a lot of them in this world. Like the ones in school where you're not supposed to run in the hallway, you're not supposed to eat in class, you're not supposed to use your phone, or maybe rules at home where it's like you have to get home at a certain time, you have to eat at a certain time, and you have to clean up after yourself. The point is, our world has a lot of rules. So it makes sense in spaces like church or around church people, we assume that it's just one more place with more rules. And actually, people usually label being Christian as somebody who follows certain rules. I want you to consider this. What if we've gotten it all wrong? What if following Jesus is just as much about the rules you break as the rules you follow? What if I told you that being rebellious isn't always a bad thing? In fact, it can be the very thing that God invites us to do. In fact, some of the powerful leaders had even planned to kill him because they were so bothered by this. How do we know this? Well, a few people who knew Jesus wrote down what happened in his life, and these documents have been passed down for generations. You know the one. One of those writers is Jesus' good friend, John. This is what John wrote down in his record of Jesus' life. It was just before the Passover festival. Jesus knew that the hour had come for him to leave this world and go to the Father. Having loved his own who were in the world, he loved them to the end. Wow, that's great. Jesus is with his closest followers, the disciple, sitting down for the feast of the Passover, a time to remember the good things God has done for the Israelite people when he freed them from slavery in Egypt. Passover happened every year, but this one was a bit different for Jesus, because he knew that he was only days away from being arrested and put on trial for what eventually led to his death. John continues, Jesus knew that the Father had put all things under his power, and that he had come from God and was returning to God. So he got up from the meal, took off his outer clothing, and wrapped a towel around his waist. After that, he poured water into a basin and began to wash his disciples' feet, drying them with the towel that was wrapped around him. Keep in mind, this took place at a time where Jesus walked the earth. Like, literally, he walked the whole earth. Like, he walked everywhere. They didn't have cars, they didn't have bikes, they didn't even have, like, those latest LeBrons or, like, those Yeezys, And it's like, they most likely wore, like, a piece of sandal that was, like, really thin and didn't protect their foot as much. And, of course, like, if you're walking everywhere, there's no sidewalk, and like your feet will be like muddy, or like they step through grass, or like even poop, sometimes I think people wouldn't notice that there's poop in the road, and they're wearing like a thin piece of sandal, so it will hit your foot, and it's like, Jesus cleaned their feet. That's why foot washing was considered a servant's job. No one would willingly touch anyone's gross feet, except Jesus. It must have shocked everybody. Even me, probably, if I was there back then. In fact, it's a rule that still exists today. Like, we don't go around and wash other people's feet, and it's like gross, Maybe some people do, but those are exceptional people who are godly. But one rule I think that many of us follow, even to this day, is we only do what you have to do. Does that make sense? See, isn't it that unspoken rule where you only look out for yourself, you only do stuff that benefit you or that you need to do? Like, let's say you only do the grade that counts, like you only do the homework that counts for your grade, or like maybe you only clean your room when your mom yells at you or throws like a sandal at your face. Those rules? Does following this rule make you a bad person? Well, no, it makes you a normal human. This is one we all follow. In fact, one of the most common ways to live is to only do what you have to do, And it's such a normal way of thinking, it almost feels like a rule, It's like a standard in life. That's what makes Jesus' foot washing so remarkable. This was more than just doing something nice for a friend. Washing feet was going beyond the normal thing humans would do. It wasn't required, it wasn't expected, especially for Jesus. It wasn't the way we did things or the way we do things. One of his last days on earth, Jesus did the opposite of what people would have considered normal. And it was one of the greatest acts of rebellion in history, if you think about it. When he had finished washing each of the disciples' feet, he said this, "Do you understand what I have done for you?" He asked them. "You call me teacher or Lord, and rightly so, for that is what I am. Now that I, your Lord and your teacher, have washed your feet, you also should wash one another's feet. I have set you an example that you should do as I have done for you. Very truly I tell you, no servant is greater than his master, nor is a messenger greater than the one who sent him. Now that you know these things, you will be blessed if you do them." This is what makes Jesus so rebellious. He did things for other people, and he didn't do it in a way where he's only looking out for himself. He's doing it because he loved people. He rebelled in a way that honored God. He challenged the way that was normal or expected from people. People always look after themselves, and Jesus did the opposite of that. He looked out for other people instead. And as a result, he didn't just overthrow the system. He changed the world. See, that's the thing about doing something you don't have to do. It gets people's attention. It disrupts the way of doing things, the normal way of doing things. It changes people in a powerful way. So, what does it look like for us to be rebellious enough to do something we don't have to do? One idea is to start each day by praying a simple prayer. God, here I am. Help me see ways I can help. When it comes to helping other people, it may not always be obvious. Sometimes I'm so busy I don't even notice, like, you guys who need help, like my teens, you guys, SI boys. Like, sometimes I don't even notice you guys need help. And praying this simple prayer will help God know that you want to help people and you want to see that they need to be helped. I think this will help you guys too. So then, as you see people that need help them, of course, even when you don't have to do it. It really is a big thing. It's really simple, and it's more rewarding. Maybe for you, if you want to help people, it means helping like your mba clean, or maybe washing the dishes, doing the chores when you're not being told to, helping your mom without them asking, And it's like, yeah, do something that your parents wouldn't usually expect. Because I feel like our parents expect a lot from us, and I think they expect us to help them. They expect us to help them when they ask for our help. So just help them out of nowhere. It'll make them happy. They would be surprised. They would be shocked, just like when Jesus washed the disciples' feet. Maybe it doesn't sound as life-changing as you think. I get it. But chances are it has already changed your life already. Here's what I mean. Do you remember a time when someone did something for you that they didn't have to do? Maybe they helped you when they didn't need to or didn't have to, or maybe they gave you something that was so generous you didn't expect it. Maybe they forgave you when you didn't deserve to be forgiven. The point is, when somebody does something they don't have to do for us, it's a powerful moment and we remember it. The same thing is true when we do something out of the ordinary for others. Here's what I want you to think about. What would happen if people from this church, TC Youth specifically, or like in your small group, like tribes, what if we did things that we didn't have to do for our schools, families, our clubs, our groups, like the debate team, Matthew, or for our community in general, your neighbors? When Jesus didn't do what he had to do, it turned the world upside down. It changed people. It made people better. When you and I serve in a way we don't have to, I think it can have a similar effect. That's why I want everyone here to be rebellious enough to do what you don't have to do. The truth is, some rules are good, like rules like wearing a seatbelt while driving, or like wearing a seatbelt when you're in the plane, stay under the speed limit. That's a big rule too, especially in Jakarta. Following these rules are a good idea, and we all know it. But other times, like selfishness, are so much a part of this world that it becomes normal, and it becomes a standard in the world that we should be able to, do everything that benefits us, or do things we have to do for us. But in fact, that's one of the reasons we have these small groups, so that we can remind each other that we don't have to do things a certain way. We don't have to do things only for ourselves. We do things for others as well. And serving others is not required, but is something you would want to do. It's rewarding for yourself as well, if you think about it. This week, I hope you talk with your small group about ways you can serve together, ways you can show up for other people in your school, or even ways you can help each other. Like, you guys look out for each other. Whether you decide, just be rebellious enough to do what you don't have to do. Amen, right? Anyway, let's bow our heads to pray. Dear God, thank you for this time we get to share and learn your word more. I pray for every single person here to be rebellious enough to do things that they don't have to do. I pray that you keep them safe and keep them healthy. In your name we pray. Amen. So that's it for today, guys. See you guys in tribes. Don't forget, we got other things like Friday Fuel. So I'll see you guys there. Bye.